ingenious. You just turn this to tighten it? Okay. I'm having fun making a bunch of dumb videos, but I thought to myself, you're wasting your time. There's no substance to those videos. Every now and then, I want some substance. So I thought, hey, I really enjoy editing videos. I really enjoy making bread. I'm gonna combine those two things. I don't have any bread making equipment here in my house. I've never made bread in this house before. This will just be a good exercise for people that have never made bread in their house before. I have one thing, a little bench knife, but it's not the most important thing. The most important thing are just these your little thingies. So I'm gonna go wash my most important utensil real quick. The wedding ring comes off when I make bread. I'm not a married man when I'm making a loaf. All right, I've scaled down the recipe that I'm gonna use. It's over here. I've scaled it down by a factor of 2, 4, 8. This is a very simple baguette dough recipe. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to actually shape baguettes here. I'm just gonna fly by the seat of my pants, play it by ear. We'll see what happens. I know I can make a good loaf of bread with it regardless. It's just, I don't know what shape it's gonna be in yet. So follow along to find out. And even if it looks horrible, it'll taste good. Probably. First off, flour. Look, they got little extra flours on the top. Bonus flour. 568 grams. I do all my measuring in grams because it makes more sense. It's easier to multiply and divide. I have issue with the imperial measurement system. Don't lick my utensils. I use bread flour because I like to make bread, but you can make bread with any flour that you have, even pastry flour. I've seen it done before. It takes a little bit more work because it doesn't have as much gluten, but you can do it. I don't suggest starting out with that if you're new to bread, but you can do it. You can do it. First, we'll do salt and yeast. Salt, 5 grams. All right, I'm gonna do 8 because that feels more correct. I have more trust in my bread making intuition than I do in my math skills. Yeast. This is just instant yeast. Sourdough, like the metric system, is just objectively better, but it's more difficult, unlike the metric system. Okay, and this is just like a dash. Can this thing even measure? I don't think this is precise enough. Yeah, that's 6, that's way too much. Again, I'm gonna eyeball this because I can do whatever I want. That honestly looks like a little bit too much. That'll be good. That'll be good. 400 grams of water and a little bit much. I always err on the side of too much with water because I don't know why, but I do that. Don't need that anymore. Don't need that anymore. All right, I'm gonna mix just with my hands. This is gonna be so much easier if you already own a mixer. Time to get my instrument dirty. I enjoy this. This is nice. It's a little gross, but it's nice. All right, once it gets into a little shaggy mess like this, then you can just dump it out and keep working on it. Mixing is when you just get all the ingredients together, and then kneading is when the ingredients are together, but then you're starting to form the gluten in the bread. It doesn't matter your technique really, you just want the end result. So there are 7,000 ways to do each step in bread making, but as long as you get the result you want and are happy with, then do it however you want. Doing it on this is my worst nightmare. I'm gonna lean on it on this side so it stops rattling so much. It's just I'm just a casual baker making some bread. do a time lapse of me just getting more and more depressed while I do this. Now, if you've done bread before, you may know about something called the window pane test. It's just something to check if the gluten development is developing. You just want to stretch and see if you can see some light through the, we're almost there. As the gluten develops, it'll start looking less shaggy and more like an actual ball. That's what you're going for. It'll be less sticky, which is what everybody wants. It is possible to overwork the dough where the gluten develops too much and it just starts breaking apart. I guarantee you will not accidentally do that by hand, unless you just hopped up on amphetamines. Another way to develop gluten, aside from just constantly hitting the dough and kneading it, is let time do its thing. I'm gonna place it in the bowl. I don't like doing dishes, so I'm gonna use the same bowl that I used to mix it in. A lot of recipes you'll see will say put it in a lightly oiled bowl. Don't worry about that. It doesn't matter. Don't listen to those people. Listen to me, okay? Might be a little worse for you, but I don't care. This is one of my favorite things, is when you clean the table and it just gets all the bread skin off. So I'm gonna let this rise for 30 minutes, then we'll come back and do some more. And we're back. I'm gonna get my hands wet because that makes dealing with these doughs a little easier, less sticky, just a little wetness on the utensils. I hate that. Why do I keep saying that? You're gonna take it out of the bowl. It's not sticky. You don't need oil. Everyone's wrong except for me. All right, now in these processes, we're gonna do what's called a stretch and fold in these processes. Yeah. It's a little hard to understand based on the name. You're gonna stretch it, and then you're gonna fold it over. A good rule of thumb is to do that for each side, like picture a square. You'll get a feel for it after you do it a few more times. You don't have to do just a specific number of each one. You just want a specific stretchiness. So what I do is just pull it up, let it hang a little bit, and then fold it over. And then once it stops hanging so much, that's obscene, then it's ready. It's ready to rest again. This is the exhilarating world of making bread, where you wait half an hour, you do something for 10 seconds, and then you get to wait another half hour. It's wonderful. Yeah, 30 more minutes, so hold on to your butts. It's a wild ride of bread. See you later, kids. All right, we've waited and waited and waited. We're gonna stretch and fold again and then wait. We got some nice little bubbles forming. Those are good, those are signs of life. The hands are wetted. I really wanna call them utensils. So here is what I mean by the window pane test. We're now at a point where you can see almost through it. All right, so the gluten is forming. That's what's gonna hold the gas that the yeast produces. The yeast is just eating the sugars in the flour and farting gases, and we wanna trap those yeast farts in bubbles, and the bubbles are gonna be made up of gluten. So you gotta have good gluten development if you want bubbles full of yeast farts, and that's what makes bread delicious. You gotta be able to taste those farts. All right, so we're gonna do one more stretch and fold. Stretch, fold, stretch, fold, stretch, fold. You're not gonna believe this. We're gonna wait. We're gonna put it back in here. We're gonna wait some more. Bread is so boring. I've pre-wetted my hands. Look at that, comes out clean. Now we're gonna do what I like to call the pre-shape, which is also what everyone else calls it. This is just what it's called. We're gonna divide this into, we'll just do 2. I should have thought all this out, but I didn't, so here we are. You can use a bench knife for this or just your little fingies. The idea behind this is you want to keep this side in the same spot, but you're gonna roll over on top of this side. So you're gonna kind of roll over itself and you're gonna stretch out this outside layer. You want the outside taut. You want to pull, keep this whichever direction you're going, I'm gonna pull it this way. So you're keeping this in place and you're gonna roll it over itself like that. And I'm just gonna do that a few times where you just roll it over itself, keep the back in place. I'm gonna say that over and over again until you get a little ball. This is what the pre-shape looks like. You're just gonna do a little ball. Pretty ball with tight skin. I hate everything about what I just said. And you see the bubbles coming up, that's a good sign. That means the yeast is alive, and it means we have enough gluten development to make bubbles, which is just good all around. So, bada bing. Now, believe it or not, we're gonna wait. It's not as bad, I would say just 10 minutes. You really just want the dough to relax. Every time you move the dough, the gluten's gonna kind of tighten up. So we're gonna give it some time. Time will let it loosen. When we do our final shape, it'll be easier to stretch. If we did it right now, it would take a lot of effort to get it to stretch out into a baguette shape. We wait 10 minutes and it's gonna be smooth as silk, hopefully. Now what am I gonna put these on? What am I gonna bake them on? I'll bake them on that. What am I gonna proof them on? What do I do with that thing? Oh wait, it's in here. I'm stupid. All right, it's been an indiscriminate amount of time. I don't know if it's actually been 10 minutes. I'm too impatient to be a baker. I don't know why I'm doing this. So now these guys are relaxed and gooey. I don't know words. I'm not gonna give you accurate descriptions of anything that's happening. This one's a little bit smaller, so I'm gonna form that into a little baggy boy. These guys are way too big. These are gonna be fat boys. We're just gonna roll with it. All right, step one, turn it upside down. Smooth part on the board. Step two, fold it over, like so. Step three, fold it over, like so. Step four, rotate it, 180 degrees. Step five, fold it over, like so. It's the same concept as before. You want tension on the outside of the bread. That's what we're doing. We're just stretching it. I stretch it over my thumb. Can you see this? Like that, pull the thumb out. Stretch it over the thumb, stretch it over the thumb. Bada bing. Now we have a little bread burrito, and we're gonna roll that into a Play-Doh snake. I'm gonna roll it, but it's kind of the same concept as before, where when we were pulling it and stretching the top on the outside, I'm just gonna do the same kind of idea with one hand, where I'm pushing it and kind of dragging it over itself like that as I roll it out this way. You hear the yeast farts bubbles popping. That's a good sign. That means it's proofed pretty well. It's a little too big for the board. That's a sign of lack of preparation. A trademark that I have. So we got our Play-Doh snake. Dredge it a little bit in flour so it doesn't stick to things. Covered in flour. So you got Play-Doh snake covered in flour. We're gonna lay it on the tea towel. Make a little fold. And we're gonna roll out our next one. Hey, lay down. Hey, lay down, lay down. So here, these are some thick boys. So I'm gonna cover them up just so air is not all over them. As these go in the fridge, I'm gonna turn on the oven, and then in 30 minutes, we'll just start baking. All right, our little babies have taken a nap. They're ready to go. They're a little bit bigger, they're a little bit colder. I realized I don't have a razor blade to score them with, so I'm gonna use this. It's not ideal, but again, it's just attributing to the fact that anybody can bake using anything you have. Bread is so easy once you know how to do it. What I'm gonna do is I wanna use this to bake in. So I'm gonna take these guys off somehow. Easy, bada bing. You wanna cradle this like a little baby. The flour dredging that we did earlier is just to make sure that it doesn't stick to this towel. Step 1 is to take all the cat hair that was on the towel off of the bread. Step 2 is to, ideally, you would use a razor blade. So if this looks bad, it is what it is. A lot of people want to initially score them like this, going this way. That's wrong. Don't do that. If you do that, you're wrong. Don't do that. What you want to do is almost straight down the middle. You want them to overlap and almost go straight down the middle. You want to create a flap that the dough sits on. So you're gonna go underneath this way. Instead of just straight down, you wanna turn this way and get underneath there a little bit. Now, if you're lazy and you don't care and you just want it to taste good and be structurally sound bread, there's always this option. I don't like it. That one is subjective. I have the oven preheated to 470. I wanna bake these at 450. I know loading them, it's gonna reduce the temperature a little bit. So I do it a little higher than I want it. I've got another tray that's been preheating in the oven. It's gonna sit underneath. I have some water. I'm gonna spray this boy down with. That is, I wanna mist them, not super soak them. All right, since I don't have a steam oven, we're gonna kind of create our own steam oven. There are 10,000 ways to do this. This is how I do it. It's not the best way. Maybe it is. Nice and moist, they go in there. I'm gonna take the rest of this, pour it into the preheated pan underneath, create that steam, close the oven, that's it. I'll reset that to 450 and set the timer. How long do these go for? We will check them in 20 minutes. All right, do not open it. Don't open it again. Don't look at it until the timer goes off, especially for the first half of the bake. You want the steam to do its job. Let the bread expand. If it doesn't, it's just gonna pop out the bottom. It's gonna look disgusting. You're gonna hate it. Don't open the oven. I will be honest, I peeked once because I don't have discipline and it's not looking wonderful. Yeah, the one at the back is a monster. Let's see what we've created. It's not nearly as bad as I thought it would be. It looked a little spooky in the oven. They came out all right. They're not perfect, but who is? It's the imperfections that make us, and these are made. Cat hair is everywhere in my life. My biggest issue with this guy, he looks pretty good, but I don't like this lighter part underneath here, but you get what you get. It's still gonna be delicious bread. This guy, however, is an abomination. This is what I was talking about with the scoring thing. It wants to expand. You score it to get it to expand exactly where you want it to. If you don't score it well enough or at all, it's just gonna pop wherever is the least resistance.
How do you tell a good bread is without tasting it? The sound, the crust, listen.
I'm happy. Let's see what we look like. Okay, not bad. Not bad. Yeah, that's not bad. We got some fans. I'm surrounded by animals right now. It's insane that 4 ingredients can turn into that. All right, so there you have it. Bread, here it is. Now you know how to do it, make some. If you do and it comes out nice, I want all the credit. If it doesn't come out nice, it's your fault. I did it right. Thanks for watching. It's nice to do something that I feel is actually contributing to the world.
What a contributor.
Although Hulk Hogan movies do contribute a lot, I think. If you like this video, there are other videos. All the other videos are dumb. So if you like dumb, you're in for a treat. All right, get out of here. Go make your own bread.